Okay, cool. Hi, everybody. Am I audible? And I think on the right account now. Great. Okay, sorry for the late start. I managed to turn off my computer right when I was trying to start this, so it was fun. Okay, cool. Let me just make sure all the rest of my stuff is in order and we can go ahead and get started. Okay. Cool. So yeah, SIG-Testing meeting for today. Looks like we have a good number of people and it's also about 4 past. So I'll let folks trickle in, but I think we can go ahead and get started. To start, is there anybody who's new here and wants to introduce themselves to the group? Cool. Seeing nobody raise hands, let's go ahead and move on to open discussion. Emily M., I think you have it.
Yeah, hi. So previously in like last meeting, so I've brought up this topic where we are wanting to introduce few of our IBM Cloud resources, add a few of our IBM Cloud resources to Bosco's. We are clear on a few things that need to be done, like where the resources to be added in the general. But the purpose of the issue was 2 main things, which is using the secret manager. And second thing is is there a systematic approach to update the user data of the Bosco's resources? So on the issue, the latest update we've mentioned is that we're planning to use GCP Secret Manager from the suggestion from one of the community member. So is there any suggestions on how do we proceed with it? Like we have a few accounts where IBM Cloud upstream dedicated accounts like Catus staging IBM Cloud and such accounts. Like do you all think that one of that account can be used by giving access to the secret manager or so? Yeah, I'm open for suggestions.
Hi there. Yeah, so I was that person that gave you some pointers on where to go next. So I can't answer the user data piece. I'll let someone else answer that one. But the secret itself, what you'll want to do, basically the IBM employees should create their own Google project, populate the secret there. And hopefully once you do that, we can give you the email, the service account that reads secrets for Kubernetes testing for. And then as long as you give that permissions, we can pull it from there and populate the secret in Kubernetes secrets.
Okay, so you mean this secret should be created in a Google Cloud account managed by us?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. If you've got any questions about that, some of your colleagues from IBM that work with me on Knative have done the same thing, so I can tell you who they are and you can talk to them.
Yeah, sure, that would be helpful.
That user data piece, I don't know. Thanks. I'll let someone else answer that one.
Yeah, thank you for the input.
Anybody have tips on the user data? I'm a passive familiarity with Bosco, so I'm not super familiar with the resource management itself. Okay. If nobody in this meeting has a particular Boscos experience for this, I'm trying to think because like the folks that I like specifically know are like some familiar with Boscos, but not necessarily experts. But I'm wondering if the Kate's Infra group would be like a particularly good place to point towards.
Okay, so I did reach out to them, but it's been going like to and fro from SIG-Testing to Catus Infra, so they
Got it.
pointed me to you so that somebody from you all could let us know. Like, have anybody does that? I mean, done this in the past? Like, I know AWS also have added their resources quite long back. So, was the process different then? Because then when I spoke to a couple of folks, they mentioned that they were directly in contact with the test infra on call members, and they were just sharing data and they were updating it on the cluster directly. So maybe there's a systematic approach right now to do it. I'm not sure.
I can definitely ask around at least to see what our current like process for Boscos is from the on-call perspective, but I think largely we've been trying to get out of directly managing Boscos stuff because it's just like not the right area for us to delve into. But that said, I think that's a solid enough AI to like figure out who is a good contact for this. 'Cause
Yeah,
I don't think on-call is like particularly good at this, but there's definitely some people who've done like use of the AWS stuff at least.
yeah, sure. That would be helpful. Like if you can just like once you get to know and update the information on the issue itself.
Cool. I'll record that in a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I did talk to Chow. Like Mohammed, I did talk to Chow first. He was the person who actually redirected me to SIG-Testing. So he was not really sure on who's going to like take care of it right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One last question I have, like Mohammed, you mentioned about the GCP account, we handle it. So what is your take on using one of the like community owned projects? Like I mentioned before, like we have like a staging and for a few projects. So is it not recommended that we have the secret manager service enabled on one of it so that it's just easy and
You could take that approach. You're talking about the staging projects where you store images, right?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, like, but there are like 3 to 4 projects which are being handled by one of our team member for IBM Cloud. So, but yeah, like I was just wondering what's your take on
It's possible. You'll need to speak to Cicada Infra and ask them to make changes to your staging project to basically enable Secret Manager and then give you the right
Mhm.
permissions.
Okay.
They might refuse that, but I can't speak on their behalf. So
Okay. Yeah, sure.
come
Yeah.
along to next week's meeting and see what they say.
Yeah. To Catus Infra meeting or this one?
Yep.
Catus
Cicada
Infra.
Infra meeting. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Which is why I said it's much easier for IBM employees to spin up their own project and just create the secret in there.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Because as far as Cicada Infra is concerned, they don't really care where you pull the secret from, as long as the principal that's being used has the right permissions.
Okay, then yeah, having our own project makes
Yeah,
sense.
we'll give an
We have
email and we'll say, give us secret access URL, and that's it.
okay. Yeah, sure. So yeah, that's it from me. Thank you, everyone. I will take it. No, I will note them down and yeah, hopefully come back in the next meeting.
Awesome. All right. Mohammed, I think you have the next agenda item if you want to go.
Yeah, so the next one is about migrating to Artifact Registry from Google Container Registry. This particular issue is related to image pushing, right? I've got some other issues open for serving images from there. So this particular issue is when changes are committed into the repositories, the image builder runs, pushes images to a staging repository in a project. So something I want to do is make sure we start pushing images to Artifact Registry within those projects, right? And the image builder is something that's owned by testing from call. So I need to talk to some people and see how that works. One question that I have is some repositories have like the cloud build YAML where they have the images key in there, so we know where the images are going to. But most of the repositories that I looked at don't really have the images key. It seems to be inserted by the Go binary that seems to be running in the image builder. So is this the right place to ask that, or do I need to go and find someone else?
I'm not. Can you restate the question? Like,
Yeah, so I have some questions about the image builder, right? There is a little Go code that runs there that generates or completes the cloud build YAML that's present in repositories. I need to change that so that it pushes images to artifact registry instead.
so the cloud build, the Go tool is just doing substitutions into the cloud build YAML. It doesn't
Okay.
have anything to do with the actual pushing.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting because some repositories, when I look at the images key is not populated. So
Yeah, there may not be, they're probably not pushing using cloud build to push. For example, if I want to push a multi-arch image, and like construct a manifest list, then I'm probably using something like Docker buildx or Docker manifest and programmatically pushing it from a step.
okay.
Instead of leaving it to cloud. When the cloud build images key can only push from, like, you build an image into like local Docker storage using some tool, and then it can push it. But that means that you're building with Docker, which we're not always doing. Sometimes we're using Co. And local storage doesn't do manifest list multi-arch stuff.
Okay.
So I would say probably going forward, like, that won't be used super often. If I'm remembering the future right. But also I'm not sure if we're coming at this the right direction. I think if we want to migrate to artifact registry, the like critical place to do so is in the registries that actually have lots of like operations happening. So the the production ones, staging registries, as a not absolute, but as a general rule, are just a place that we allow the like build to push to, and then they're only consumed by the promotion tool.
Okay. I'm working at it from both ends, right?
Yeah, but I
as you've
think
noticed, but
I think that it will be more disruptive to replace all of the staging registries, and for less gain. I think that it's probably worth focusing the effort on, can we get promotion into artifact registry, and it should be pretty negligible on most of the staging registries if we stage to GCR still.
okay, that's fine. I mean, the other piece has already been answered. It's doable. All the work is in Fly. I just need to get the right approvers for it. The reason I'm looking at that is GCR is going to disappear at some point. And what we're talking about has to be looked at some point in the future.
My understanding was they had no intention to like shut down the project, or if they did, that would be pretty heavy notice. They're just not going to add any additional features. It's frozen.
Okay.
So we'll want to move to artifact registry for other things, because it's also an opportunity for us to move to like specific regions instead of multi-regional. And
Okay.
because at some point we might want features. I know a few people in the project have had long-standing requests for things like immutable tags. And we're kind of like implementing that ourselves on top with the promoter. So like that sort of thing. But again, for staging, I don't think we care, because we're just consuming those by digest.
Okay.
I do think it makes sense long term to standardize on it. But I feel like it's a lot more pressing to work through how we get it into the production promotion. And other than like getting agreement on that and actually standing it up, I think that like logistically, that's also far less disruptive. There's a lot of staging registries to track down and tell projects to switch to pushing to some different location. And if they do have people consuming from those registries, then they have to switch. And
Okay. Yeah, that context is helpful. In my initial scoping, it is a lot of work, like substantially more than what we need to do to get OCI proxy up and running. But yeah, it's nice to know that context. I'll keep that in mind.
yeah, and I would certainly still want to be helpful here, and I think this is a good thing to do. But given that I've also seen you working on some of these other parts, I would consider like shelving this one, because I think it's probably going to be a lot more work than the payoff for the moment.
Okay. All right, thanks for that.
Okay, please also update the notes if anything in there looks inaccurate. I'm trying my best on that. Cool. I think that's all the stuff that was listed on the agenda for now. Does anybody have any like ad hoc agenda items that they want to discuss right now, or just any topics? Hi, Ben.
Hi, I have a like quick FYI for folks. There's a KEP from SIG release about changing the Kubernetes main repo default branch from master to main. There was some communication going out about doing that very soon. I think we're going to delay it to the next release because it needs more input, but I'll be trying to circle back and drop that to the SIG in Slack when there's a PR to that KEP where we can discuss more. It actually didn't get marked implementable yet. It's still marked provisional. So we're asking them to follow up on that, and folks from this SIG probably can help provide some more input on how to make that transition smooth from the like infrastructure side of things. I know I at least have some thoughts about the CI config on the scale of that project, but I suspect other people in the SIG will too. We're listed as a participating SIG, but it didn't filter here yet. So the other bit of feedback is to circulate it to all those SIGs. So lending a hand here, we're one of the SIGs. We should be taking a look at that when that KEP comes back up, probably within this week. Let me find a link to that. Or it went. There was a notice to the dev mailing list, which you should be a member of. Here we go. Oops. I've added a link in the notes.
Thanks, Ben. Anything else on that, or put that on there?
That's it for that one.
Cool. Any other ad hoc agenda items folks want to discuss? All right. I think in that case, we can close this out. Thanks everybody for attending. I've got an action item on me, and it sounds like there's some good follow-ups for some of the issues mentioned. So thanks everybody. See you all later.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.